What's up, y'all? Okay, we're putting the starter back in, and I am going to get this little bastard to start. GSXR1000. You got to make sure that's the title. Still runs smooth. You did good work, Harley. Harley's the one that did this. I taught him how, but whatever. Gotta learn somehow. Start somewhere, right? Put the main line up so we don't have to get down in there. There's a parts guy here. Hey, you can grab this. Alright, there we go, nice and taut. Oh no, Clayton's doing it, you're good. Alright, so let's see. We're gonna get the starter started in the little hole back there. Just give it a little wiggle. I don't want the teeth to mesh up properly. Oh, and the O-ring to sit. Surprise guest. What's up, Becca? What you doing?
I have a customer out front that has some questions about levels in his truck. Can't understand much.
Okay.
Tim's already talking to somebody else.
Okay, tell him to give me just a second, or if you can hold on just for a second, I'll finish up, and then I'll come talk to him. Alright. Just gonna start these two bolts. There's no alignment on these. These are pretty precise, so you don't have to shim it or anything. The shims are usually basically in the reduction gear, so you don't have to worry about it. Snug those down nice and good. So what we're going to end up doing on this bike, just so everybody knows, is it's a breather for the crankcase. So check us out. This wire right here, this guy, is the ground wire. Just goes underneath and it hooks up right here, which I don't like too much. And it also got another ground strap built into it. What we're going to end up doing is we're actually going to take this and remove it, and we're going to basically do the same thing we did with the power line, but we're also going to make a secondary ground. So we're going to have one ground here, and then we're going to have another ground that runs off of the motor to the frame, so everything's just double grounded. Everything's going to work a lot better and stronger. We seem to have a communication problem with this because we're having overheating issues with the starter, and we don't like that, which normally comes into a bad ground or a bad power. In this case, we're also going to do the same thing with this power line, and this is the one that goes directly to the starter. And we're going to use this gauge wire, which is an 8 gauge. Or that 6? Sorry, that is 6 gauge wire that we're going to use for this one. The main power line going to the starter, and we're going to use this 6 gauge for the grounds, but we're going to do 2. We're just overdoing everything on this with the grounds and powers. It doesn't hurt anything. Absolutely wonderful. So should we see if she'll run a little bit?
Yeah, let's see if she cranks.
Oh, she'll definitely crank. She will not start with the tank off because of the fuel pump, but we can just crank it and see what it'll do. Yeah, she seems to be cranking beautifully. Now that the starter actually has its brushes and communication.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we'll just go ahead and throw the tank back on really quick.
Gotta throw the cover back on.
I'm going to go ahead and just undo the motor really quick for the blades. Just to... I want to see if it'll start. Because we had the throttle positioning sensor, or Maxy had it unplugged, and we couldn't figure out why it wouldn't stay running, and that's why. But we're going to see what it does now. You don't have to put that on here. We're just going to set the tank on just for run purpose.
Okay.
Do you have any more microfiber racks real quick?
Not right here, no. Boom, boom, boom. GSXR's getting some love. All right.
That's it. We'll just set that there. Fuel pump seems to be working. Sounds a lot better than it did last time.
Oh, yes, it does.
You see the hesitation? I don't like the hesitation, so we're going to be ending up testing that, making sure it works properly. As of right now, sounds like it has a turbo already. You hear this little honk on it? I love the sound of it. Way too much fuel. This is good.
Oh, yeah.
Now we'll be back with some other diagnosis properties, and we'll get this thing going really well once we're done with it. And for those of you backyard mechanics that want to do this yourself, you can do this with a test light. You don't have to have a power probe to do this. A test light, just hook it to the ground and test for powers as you're testing it. There is, on most bikes, there is a neutral safety switch up here that you have to test as well. If you don't, if you can't find the problem, I would always test this first. This little sensor that's down here. If that doesn't work, you'll never be able to pull the clutch in and start the bike. You should be able to put it in neutral, it should start, but you always want to check it. It's a simple ground circuit, not a big deal. But don't use wrenches, don't use screwdrivers, don't be jumping stuff across. You'll end up arcing a lot of things. You can end up damaging a lot of things doing it, so it's really not worth it. You can go buy a test light cheaper than you can buy a wrench or a computer for one of these things. So anyway, enjoy. We'll look forward to the comments and see where you guys are at.
Jixer's alive.
Sixers alive and running smooth.